Well, in this video, we're going to look at hate speech and we're going to look at the relevant legislation and what it's going to mean if hate speech is brought in by the European Union and Ireland allows it to be brought into our law. How it may affect you, because it's going to affect every protester. It's not going to just affect Irish protesters, it's going to affect Palestinian protests a lot. So we're just going to go through the UK law. Lucy Connolly, what happened to her as she tweeted something online that she shouldn't have tweeted, and she got 31 months in jail. So you're gonna want to watch this one and see how YouTube comments and tweets, X comments and such can affect you. So stay tuned till the end. You might learn a bit in this educational video. Well, the text from the Constitution of Ireland, Article 46.1, it says the right of citizens to express freely their convictions and opinions, and I suppose we do have hate crime already, and it's the Prohibition of Incitement to Hatred Act 1989, and this is the key legislation in Ireland that criminalises incitement to hatred on various grounds. Now, it is part of Ireland's efforts to balance freedom of speech with protection against hate-based abuse or violence, and offence is defined in Section 2. A person is guilty of an offence if they publish or distribute written material or use words, behave or display material in a public place or broadcast via radio, TV or other means which are threatening, abusive or insulting with the intent to stir up hatred or where it is likely to stir up hatred. Now, in my opinion, if we bring an amendment to the current Hate Speech Act of 1989, this could prove to be incompatible with the Irish Constitution. But if the hate speech law is allowed by the European Union standard, then it will supersede our Constitution and Irish legislation. Now let's look at the Lucy Connolly case, for example, so we can glean what is meant by this in a way. So, this is Speech in Action, Hate Speech, and it's in October 2004, and it was appealed in May 2005 in the UK. And to educate further on the issue of what hate speech might be, we look at Lucy Connolly case. So she was a Conservative councillor from Northampton. She was the wife of a Conservative councillor from Northampton, and she tweeted in 2014 to the Southport knife attack, and she called for mass deportations of migrants. Now, she urged followers to set fire to certain iPads kind of centres, we'll say, and the tweet was widely viewed by 310,000 people before deletion. Now, what was the legal outcome? Well, she was charged first under the Public Order Act 1986, similar to the Irish 1989 law, for inciting racial hatred. And she was sentenced at Birmingham Court to 31 months in prison for this tweet, but she got a 45% reduction, which brought it down to 12 months. So you get the idea that hate speech is ambiguous, and if not specifically defined, then anything could be regarded as hate speech. For example, I looked at the Lucy Connolly case. She called for mass migration of migrants. Now I ask you, is this hate speech or just opinion? Now, the fact she quoted is saying from court records, she urged people to start fires. Now, when the court took issue as incitement to hatred, and so looking at Irish legislation that's already in place for such offence, whether spoken, published or otherwise, which is a fair enough decision. That is why a person need be careful with words they use online or at peaceful protests. Now, in my opinion, if the European Union get their way and Ireland agree to enact, well, let's look at the case Balakam versus Belgium 2017. So here, a religious leader's YouTube post urging physical confrontation against Muslims were prosecuted in Belgium in the European Court of Human Rights, and this conviction was upheld, affirming that incitement to hatred or violence is not protected speech. So you see, the hate speech proposal may affect everyone, no matter what side of the protest you're on. Housing protests, Palestinian protesters, the words used or signs displayed. So this is why free speech is so important, and an Irish constitutional right that we must at all costs defend, as in my opinion it strikes at the heart of our constitution and will likely drive big tech firms away from Ireland and back to the USA, where freedom of speech is rightly protected. And if this happens, the consequences that will be felt by all people in Ireland, as if we lose the big tech sector, well, then the public purse will be a lot lighter. Your opinions, as it always, matters, and that's why I say follow YouTube guidelines to protect you, protect all. That's why free speech and opinion is important. Hate speech, no, don't be hateful and don't be hateful in the comments. Have a civil debate. We as Irish can get our point through in music and words without hatred because we're good people. Take care.